fire starter. I'm a wildfire, hit you like a prize fire. Ooh, baby, I'm a wildfire, straight from the block, no, I cannot be stopped. I'm a wild child, hit you with the hard style. Ooh, baby, I'm a wild.
Getting a training session in this morning in the barn. Going to do some intervals on the bike erg. And so there's a workout that a lot of guys were doing that was going around for a while. It was going around mostly, I think, when I was hurt, so I couldn't really get an opportunity to do it. But 10 by 1,000 on here, 1 minute rest in between each, and the goal was to hold every interval at a 140 pace or below. That's what a lot of guys were doing. And so I think the best that I've done is 7 or 8, and then kind of failed on the 9th rep or the 9th round. So what I'm gonna do today is a handful of 300s at a faster pace than what my goal pace is, right? So part of the purpose of interval training is you wanna overload the body. You wanna give it a stimulus that's hasn't been there before, right? It's something that your body hasn't done before, it's not used to, so then we can adapt and get better. That's how we get stronger, that's how we get faster, that's how we jump higher, right? So I'm gonna bike my 300s at around a 135 pace per 1,000 meter on the monitor, and I'm only gonna rest between, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds, so the work to rest ratio is gonna be about 1 to 1, and I'm gonna do that for almost the exact same amount of volume that's in that 10 by 1,000, right? So that's a 10K worth of volume. I'm gonna put the same volume in at a faster pace with that little bit of rest in there. But I'm teaching my body to pedal at a higher RPM, do a higher power output for the same amount of meters, right? But that's how you train. That's how you get better. That's how you make the adaptation and slowly kind of creep towards those goals. So then when you jump back on the bike, you're pedaling actually at a lower rate. It's still your goal pace, but a lower RPM, a lower pace per 1,000 meters, but hopefully able to hang on then to those last 2 or 3 thousands because I've prepped my body by doing the volume at a faster pace, right? Added in the rest, but still gonna do the same amount of volume. We're gonna take the same principle that we just used on the bike in terms of interval training. So pushing ourselves beyond race pace, essentially, is what we did on the bike. Had a little bit of rest, but still accumulated a total volume of what the actual test is. So the test was on here, 10 by 1,000 meters at a minute 40 per 1,000 meters or under. And so I did 33 or 34 300s at a pace that was faster than that, at trying to hold a 135 to 136 1,000 pace for that 300 meters. Basically a work to rest ratio of 1 to 1. Had a little malfunction on the bike about halfway through, so I had to take a little break basically, recalibrate the bike, and then I cut off 10 seconds off of my rest on the second half of the workout to kind of make up for that break. So again, exercising at what you would call post 1 rep max loads on a bike, right? So my 1 rep max technically for those 10 by 1,000s is around 100 or a minute 40. Haven't quite achieved that yet. So exercised or worked out at a pace that was faster than what I'm trying to hit than my actual goal pace. So hopefully the adaptation there is I'll be able to hold on to that 140 pace for longer in the future. We're gonna do the same thing on the barbell. So leading up to the Arnold, there is a rep max test with a 315 pound deadlift. You have 2 minutes to get as many reps as possible. You can only wear a belt, no suits, no straps, just chalk. And we're gonna take like I said, we're gonna take a similar method, and I'm gonna add a little bit more weight. So I'm adding about 5 to 10% on top of that 315 pounds. I'm gonna do intervals of between 10 and 15 reps. I'm gonna start with 15s and kind of see how I do. Every right around 90 seconds, I'm gonna try to do 15 reps until I go to at least 60 reps, or I might push a little bit past that just to get a little bit extra volume. I have been working my posterior chain pretty hard this week just because I am trying to train for that. So I've shifted some of my focus onto even more reverse hypers, more deadlifts, just more things to work my spinal erectors, my glutes, and my hamstrings. So we'll kind of see how this goes. I'm going to play it out. Deadlifts on the minute hasn't been something that I've done in a very long time just because I'm naturally pretty good at it. So it's not something that I've had to put as much work into as, say, the bike or squatting or those things. So we're going to see how this workout goes. Might make a couple adjustments. We'll let you know here after we hit it.
We came to win, we lost before, but never again. Back on our grind, you know what it is. Yeah, this is our year. Knocked us down once, we got up again. Put in the work, so I know we gon' win. This is for real, we never pretend. We gotta win, win. Had to stop being basic. Part of my dreams had to chase. You counted me out, I counted me in. Fell off before, but never again. They boxing me out, I never fit in. Never will fold, never could bend. Just wanna win.
Oh, that was good. So, did the first set of 15. Knew that was gonna be too much out of the rip, at least for the 90-second. So I dropped down to 10s, and that was just right. That last set of 10 was starting to feel a little dicey with my positioning. You know, it's a difference between training and competing. Let's say that last set of 10 definitely started to hitch a little bit, trying to stand out of the bottom, or as I was pulling the weight up. That's a scenario where I'm willing to bet I probably could have gotten 5 more, but in training at the cost of hurting yourself, right? So that's the difference between training and competing. Competing, you go for it. Training, you establish a goal. You establish a plan, you achieve that plan, and then adjust the next time you go to get stronger and to get better. So, good morning session here, super fired up with how it went well. Definitely feel like I made some gains. So, you can take this training into anything, that interval style. Just remember, for me personally, I'm a big fan of always going at race pace or faster, playing with the distances, playing with the reps, in order to make the adaptation you want, to achieve the goal you want, whether it's running, biking, Fran, rowing, whatever that might be. That's kind of been my bread and butter ever since I started track and field and started training for things like the Junior Olympics back when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. So take that into your training, play with it, see how it works for you. Just make sure if you're gonna do those things, go and post 1 rep max loads, try to press yourself a little bit harder. Keep the CrossFit saying or methodology in mind of mechanics, consistency, intensity. Make sure your mechanics are good. Make sure you're doing it consistently over those reps in order to train at that level of intensity. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for checking in. Make sure you like and subscribe.